Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So is Citi using Ripple? This coming from the Wrath of Kahneman from just yesterday evening. This graphic lists Citi as a Ripple user. It is not the original source, but rather from Block Data Tech. Okay, so this is a company here that discusses all things blockchain. Surprisingly, but Citi is known to have experimented with Ripple earlier, likely to regard RippleNet use only and not XRP. Now, he's bringing up this little chart here, just kind of describing some companies, some famous companies that we all recognize and the technologies that they use. Down here, it's talking about Citi and that they use Ripple. Now, it's interesting because there have been some connections with Citibank and how they've, for example, extended partnerships with Ripple partners, like, for example, Valente's Volpe. This was from back in January of 21. Citi Treasury and Trade Solutions Citi has announced the extension of its long-standing partnership with key Ripple partner Vallee Technologies, a global provider of payments and financial messaging solutions. So this was a partnership, a secondary partnership through that connection. We also have this guy's from back in January of 2020. Citi experimented with Ripple, and this courtesy of Leonidas's XRP Arcade. So they did experiment with Ripple. Citigroup, or Citi, is an American multinational investment bank and financial services corporation headquarters in New York. Citigroup is ranked third in a list of the largest banks in the U.S., and back in 2015, it was revealed that Citi had been experimenting with blockchain technology, and that one of those technologies was, in fact, a distributed ledger technology run by Ripple Labs. So they were, toying with the technology at that time. We also have the head of MasterCard Labs here, also did work at Citi. And you can see down here, there was a description in his LinkedIn profile. I believe this was from leading innovation in digital strategy for international payment using blockchain technology, and then gives Ripple Labs as an example of some of the experimenting that this company did in fact do with distributed ledger technology. So, I mean, I don't know if this is accurate or if this is up to date or not. Citibank, though, listed on this as a confirmed Ripple partner. If anybody does have any more information about this, please do put it down in the comments section, or you can tag me on Twitter. Thought it was interesting nonetheless. Wanted to keep moving, guys, because it's looking as though XLM is reporting a healthy increase in payments as well. In 2022, they haven't done too poorly. This one from Michael Branch on Twitter. XRP rivals Stellar. XLM reports 172% increase in payments. Other positive numbers in 2022 reports. So, as Michael says here, they're not rivals, not necessarily. I'm thinking we're going to see the Stellar Foundation and Ripple working hand in hand in a lot of cases. One great example of that is the MoneyGram partnership. MoneyGram has, partnered with Stellar recently, but also still has some contracts with Ripple. So it could be that a lot of companies are going to realize that there's going to be a benefit to run on distributed ledger technology, run on this type of technology, and may use XRP for one particular use case, but may in fact use XLM for another use case. So although they're very similar and they can, in fact, produce the same types of results, I think that there's going to be maybe unofficial turf regions maybe delineated, whereas, we'll see Ripple and XRP do certain applications and Stellar and XLM do others. Anyway, we have been seeing Stellar reporting a healthy increase, 172% in 2022, in addition to some other positive numbers. According to a new blog post by Stellar founder and CEO Danelle Dixon, the global payment platform has been posting astronomical numbers in 2022, despite the ongoing crypto winter. So another good sign, guys, in crypto winter, we are still seeing companies like Ripple and Stellar thrive. Dixon highlights the fact that Stellar saw more growth in just one quarter of this year than it did in all of 2021. Last year, we celebrated that Stellar hit 1 billion operations in 2 quarters. This year, Stellar nearly hit 1 billion in 1 quarter, in addition to passing another huge milestone, more than 7 million accounts on the network. This growth has been astronomical and heartening because it's proof that people are using Stellar to power real-world utility, innovation, and financial inclusion across the globe. XLM also posted positive numbers across the board, seeing a 73% increase in total assets, a 17% increase in total assets, and a 92% bump in total operations processed. So just some statistics here from the Stellar network. And I mean, Stellar trading at a steal of a deal right now, bringing up the XLM chart real quickly here. That's one of those assets that I think we can get for a deal if you guys are interested in investing. Again, not financial advice here, but as you guys can see, and I brought this price tool down on this chart in the past, We're down almost 91% from Stellar's most recent high, which isn't even its all-time high, but its most recent high from back in May of 2021. Down 91%, down trading around 7 cents at the moment of this recording. So some interesting news there with regards to Stellar. And again, a good opportunity for a robust company that is posting gains, that is doing better and better every single quarter in and amongst a crypto winter, as per Danelle Dixon, CEO over there at Stellar. So I think that's a good indication of where this company could potentially go in the future. I also wanted to bring this up, guys, from Wheezy at Nerd Nation Unboxed. The prosecutor in the SBF case that was able to get him that bail that doesn't make sense is none other than Stanford Law graduate Nicholas Roos. Now, when things don't make sense, we tend to look into them a little further, do a little bit more research, and sometimes we find connections. Remember the jail guards that fell asleep when Epstein didn't kill himself? Well, guess who asked for the case to be dropped? Yeah, the same guy. So, just to give you guys some background here, this is just the article, FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried to be released on $250 million bail. We talked about this the other day. So that was basically the headline here. They agreed to sign a $250 million bond and keep him at their California home while he awaits trials on charges that he swindled investors and looted customer deposits on his FTX trading platform. And then down here, Assistant U.S. Attorney Nicholas Roos said in federal court that Bankman-Fried, 30, perpetrated a fraud of epic proportions. Roos proposed illicit bail terms, including the $250 million bond, which he said is believed to be the largest federal pretrial bond ever, and house arrest at his parents' home in Palo Alto, California. So, Nicholas Roos, part of this story, and yet Justice Department ditches the case against Jeffrey Epstein, all because of, yes, you guessed it, the same Nicholas Roos, an assistant U.S. Attorney General for the Southern District of New York, told a federal court that prosecutors want to drop the charges entirely. He said the DOJ filing of a nolle prosequi, a Latin phrase indicating that prosecutors have decided to abandon the prosecution of a case, will dispose of this case against the guards. Things that make you go, could there be some backdoor deals going on? I have no doubt that there probably are, but I'm going to leave it at that. Wanted to thank Wheezy at Nerd Nation Unboxed just for posting that. Now, speaking of backdoor deals and things that sometimes don't make sense to us, I saw this from Ashley Prosper, and I know you guys have been noticing this as well. And she's outlined the dates here, which I just love here. Max Kaiser attacked XRP in December, on December 14th, okay? On the 16th, Charles Hoskinson begins second Twitter spat about XRP. Remember before, I think it was in November, maybe even earlier, Charles Hoskinson was also being fairly negative on XRP. On the 17th, Jim Cramer attacks XRP. Then on the 19th, Vitalik calls XRP centralized again. And, these are people that have been critical of XRP in the past. But, it just seems like all of a sudden they're coming out of the woodwork and they're, ramping up the FUD. And it feels like it's contrived. Calvin Ayre, CoinGeek founder, goes after XRP on the 25th on Christmas Day. And then we had the 26th of December spat with Dr. Craig S. Wright. He attacked XRP in that exchange that he had with David Schwartz over there on Twitter. And all this is happening in December. So an interesting timeline to point out here. It could just be a huge coincidence. But should we really take that for granted? Some other things to look into, okay? An interview that I recently checked out, and somebody here from looks like a WhatsApp conversation did discuss this whole concept of the buyback. Now, if you guys believe it, you may not believe it. I wanted to touch, though, on some interesting points here. The bank's already tried to buy XRP and XLM back from us. Vallee Capital bank put in an offer for 10 grand per XRP, which was refused or denied. Then a second offer was put in a month later for 25,000 per XRP. Okay, I know it sounds too good to be true. That was also denied. Then a third offer was put in for 37,500 per XRP, which was also denied. And they put down here the price of XRP is $385,000 per XRP. Now, this from the Ripple Wrestling investor here, and it's tough to believe. When you're looking at these astronomical numbers, you got to check your pulse and you got to think these guys are full of shit. Stephanie Starr even calling bull on this, okay? She says, I call bull. The banks can buy it for less than 40 cents on the exchanges. Once the exchanges run out, though, then we're talking. And that makes sense. It's a sensible argument here. Why would banks pay us this kind of astronomical amounts for our XRP that we hold. And I know some of us hold upwards of 10, 20, 30, 50, 100,000 XRP maybe in some cases, and maybe even more. I mean, if you got into XRP in 2017, you could hold up to 1 million XRP. It was trading for, what, 0.005 cents for a while there back in 2017 and before. So to think that banks are going to pay these astronomical amounts for XRP just seems ludicrous. But is there a case for it, guys? Digital Asset Buy here, posting this interview with Jimmy Vallee of Valhill Capital, a great interview that he did with Molly Elmore. So again, this is wild speculation, but I wanted to bring this forth just to give you guys a sense of where Jimmy Vallee, the CEO of Valhill Capital, where his head's at with regards to these astronomical prices and the rationale for banks actually paying them.
So one question that I know comes up a lot is, if hypothetically there were to be a situation in the future where a government or a bank were to buy back the asset at a much higher value, why wouldn't they just buy all of it right now when it's very cheap? Like, seems silly to not do that. What is your response to that question when that comes up?
So there's several reasons, but I think the most profound reason is that the only reason they would really want to do that is to, in the process of the transaction, establish a true fair market value. Okay, fair market value requires a few things. It requires, both parties not being in a position where they're compelled to sell. So, for example, if you and I want to buy your XRP, if I put a gun to your head and I say, sell me all your XRP or I'm going to blow your brains out, I'm compelling you to sell. You're basically entering that contract under duress. That's not an enforceable contract. Fair market value was not established, right? Likewise, if I know that I'm going to buy your XRP and that we are going to use it as the transformative asset of a new financial system, and that, within a year, 2 years, 3 years, we're going to dramatically increase the price based on a global coordinated effort that we've been engaged in for multiple years, and I don't inform you of that, then I've done the same thing. It's called fraud and the inducement. I'm in possession of material facts that, had you known that, you would not have sold it to me, okay? So we've just talked earlier about all the different fraud and the coordinated FUD and the fact that this lawsuit has been brought, it's been delisted from this exchanges. You have all these media people going on to CNBC, Jim Cramer, you got Michael Saylor, all these people FUDding XRP all the time. Now it seems like it's moved up to the Charles Hoskinson level and the Vitalik Buterin level, and this guy Craig White weighed in here, past couple of days and gotten an argument with David Schwartz, about stuff. So this is a massively coordinated campaign to basically keep people from adopting the asset. So it is a price suppression activity. What is on the exchange is not real. And that's where this is why I think people have so much cognitive dissonance about a high price, is because in order to basically start agreeing to the high price concept, and it doesn't even matter if it's $35,000, $50,000, $100, right? If you think that the price should be $100, you really start to have to question whether what you're looking at on the screen is real or not, which goes to the whole structure, is the whole system real or not, okay? And the cognitive dissonance of not really wanting to know that it's kind of made up.
Wow. So some interesting concepts here, some interesting theories here, I guess we could say, by Jimmy Vallee of Valhill Capital. First of all, talking about the cognitive dissonance. I mean, we're looking at these numbers and we're thinking to ourselves, this is ridiculous. How in the hell could anybody pay us that kind of money for the XRP that we hold when they could buy it on the open market? I mean, it doesn't make sense. But as Jimmy Vallee explains it and kind of goes through the reasons, I think one can probably see that there is definitely an argument for that particular case. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but As Jimmy Vallee points out, he talks about, two extremes, basically. Us having to hand over our XRP under duress, that was one thing. He gives the example of pointing the gun to your head and saying, give me all your XRP, and that's kind of one extreme. And then he talks about fraud and the inducement, which is, not letting us know, not telling us directly that our XRP is going to be useful. Now, us in the XRP community, we've done our own research, so we've kind of found out on our own why we think XRP is going to be useful. But, they can't just buy it back from us without disclosing that information. So an interesting perspective here from Jimmy Vallee. And considering we're in this quagmire, with Gary Gensler and the SEC, stating their case about XRP, meanwhile, we've got other international bodies like the IMF saying, in fact, that XRP is decentralized. Meanwhile, we got the SEC lying about it. So this is just another screen grab from Nathan Price here on Twitter from the IMF's official website here. Just, talking a little bit about XRP, that mechanism for transferring value and how it is, in fact, decentralized. I'll link it in the description for you. Also, this from Crypto Meme Guy. Remember what Gary Gensler said in 2018? He was teaching a class at MIT about blockchain technology, specifically mentioning Ripple and XRP several times. So he's no idiot, but he's playing one on TV.
Crypto Bitcoin to Philippine peso. That is called a bridge crypto or bridge currency. That's in fact what Ripple is trying to do with XRP. So Ripple is a company that started as a messaging, a payment messaging service to compete with SWIFT. And that messaging service, which we'll talk about more Thursday, has been adopted by many banks. More recently, in 2018, they rolled out a prototype of using a crypto token, XRP, as a bridge currency.
This clip goes on for about another minute, but just wanted to show you guys roughly the first 40 seconds with Gary Gensler speaking very clearly, very knowledgeably about Ripple and XRP. To me, it just doesn't wash. The SEC trying to say one thing, trying to, prove one thing in court. Meanwhile, we got Gary Gensler at MIT talking about Ripple and XRP, teaching, in fact, about Ripple and XRP to his students in a very knowledgeable way. So these things just aren't jiving for me. Another clip here just from Jimmy Vallee. What would XRP be worth if the bad guys never showed up? So we have the red herrings, the lawsuits, the Gary Genslers, the SECs, all trying to take a bite out of our profits. But what if they had not showed up?
We're talking significant damages. We want to actually have a tried and true defensible valuation that assumes basically one major thing. If that lawsuit wouldn't have happened, if the regulatory capture would not have occurred, and it was free to just go on its way and be adopted and achieve its ultimate intended use case, which is to transfer all the value in a tokenized world, what is the present value of that number? And have several different models in a football field, just like if you were selling a company or selling a bunch of oil or something, people will go through these exact same type of analysis. It's an asset, just like any other asset. We're going to put a value on that. And then when the lawsuit happens, once people are certainly outraged enough that they realize what Gensler, Clayton, Hinman, and all these cast characters, A16Z and Galaxy Digital and Multicoin and on and on and on, once we realize how pervasive this fraud was, they're going to want a big number because they'll realize how substantial it really was. And that's what it's going to be. And that's what will be going in front of the judge when they ask, well, what's your proof of the damages? Here's a valuation model that was done in 2022. Maybe this is a case at the end of 2023. Maybe it's 24 or whatever. Here's another one that was done in 2021.
He's not making sense. I'll put it to you that way. So yeah, could be cognitive dissonance. I'm not holding my breath that XRP is going to get to $50,000 and beyond. Am I saying it's not possible? Absolutely not. Anything is possible. Jimmy Vallee, I think, actually brings up a pretty good case to suggest why XRP could get that high. So, are we being fooled? Are we being duped into believing the true value of XRP is hovering at around 35 cents as of the time of this recording? Has the cognitive dissonance set in? Even though you and I both know how valuable XRP really should be, had the SEC not tried to put a stop to Ripple's progress, if XRP is going to be the lubrication to move the financial system in this coming liquidity crisis that we could experience a lot more dramatically in 2023. If you guys didn't catch a video I did this morning, I'll link it up here in the top right-hand corner. Those numbers certainly don't sound outlandish, and 34 cents, I guess, is a pretty damn good time to buy. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.